Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin.
Far beyond the swirl of our familiar blue planet, beyond the warm breath of our sun, stretches a darkness so deep it seems empty. Yet hidden inside this darkness is something strange, something silent, something that outweighs everything we can see. Astronomers call it dark matter. It does not glow or burn, does not shimmer like starlight or blaze like a comet's tail. It is invisible like breath on cold glass, seen only by the shapes it leaves behind. The galaxies float in a cosmic ocean, and dark matter is the invisible current that keeps them from drifting apart. Imagine holding a galaxy in your mind, spinning gently like a pinwheel made of starlight. The stars whirl around its center, their paths like ribbons of silver light. According to gravity alone, many of those stars should have flown away long ago, scattered into the dark like seeds in a storm. But they remain. They cling, bound to something unseen. Something massive yet invisible wraps around them like a soft skeleton, like the hidden frame beneath the skin of the cosmos. This unseen structure is dark matter, and though it has never been touched or captured, it reveals itself through the dance of stars. The idea of dark matter was born from confusion. In the early 20th century, astronomers studying spiral galaxies noticed their stars move too fast. The outer stars raced around their galaxies at speeds that should have flung them into the void, yet they stayed. The pull of visible matter, stars, gas, dust, was not enough to hold them in. So there had to be more, an invisible gravity holding everything together. This unseen mass was given a name, dark matter. It is not dark because it is evil, but because it does not shine. It swallows light instead of making it, leaving behind only its quiet gravitational fingerprint. Think of walking through a forest at dusk. You cannot see the wind, but you can see the trees sway. You cannot hold the breeze, but you know it is there by the way the leaves shiver. Dark matter is like that wind, intangible, invisible, yet strong enough to bend the branches of galaxies. It flows through the universe like an unseen river, shaping everything while remaining hidden. Without it, the stars would scatter, the galaxies would dissolve, and the cosmic web would unravel like a fraying net. Dark matter is the glue that holds the universe together, though it whispers instead of roars. Even the vast clusters of galaxies, the great cities of the cosmos, owe their shape to dark matter. These clusters are like shimmering archipelagos of starlight, separated by gulfs of space so immense that light itself takes billions of years to cross them. Between those glowing islands lies a skeleton made of darkness. Scientists map this skeleton not by seeing it directly, but by watching how its gravity bends the light of distant galaxies. This bending, called gravitational lensing, is like a fingerprint pressed into the fabric of space. Where the light curves, dark matter is hiding. The cosmos becomes a shadow puppet show, and dark matter is the unseen hand behind the curtain. Picture a spider's web stretched across a meadow. Dew gathers along its threads, sparkling in the morning sun. The web itself is nearly invisible until the dew reveals it. Galaxies are like those beads of dew, gathered along filaments of dark matter. These filaments stretch across the universe, weaving an enormous cosmic web. The spaces between them are vast voids, nearly empty, while the web threads hum with invisible mass. We live on one of those sparkling beads, our entire galaxy balanced delicately on strands of darkness that reach beyond imagination. Though dark matter makes up most of the universe's mass, we cannot see it or touch it. It passes through our bodies like ghosts passing through walls. It slides through planets, through stars, through the earth beneath our feet. Every second, trillions of dark matter particles may be flowing through you, silent as breath, leaving no mark. Scientists build quiet underground laboratories deep beneath mountains, trying to catch even a single particle of it. They fill chambers with ultra-pure crystals and shield them from cosmic rays, waiting for a tiny spark, a whisper of collision. Yet so far, dark matter has remained silent, like a shadow that never moves when you turn on the light. Still, we know it must be there because without it, the universe would make no sense. The galaxies spin too fast. The clusters hold too much mass. The cosmic microwave background, the ancient light left over from the birth of the universe, ripples in patterns that only make sense if dark matter exists. It is as if the universe is a grand symphony and dark matter is the low hum of bass strings beneath the melody, inaudible alone but essential to the music. It is the quiet foundation upon which all the shining stars perform. Scientists do not know what dark matter is made of. It might be particles unlike anything we have ever seen. Some think it could be weakly interacting massive particles, WIMPs that barely touch normal matter. Others imagine axions, ghostly particles that drift like mist. Some even wonder if our understanding of gravity itself is incomplete, and dark matter is just a sign that the rules we follow are missing pieces. The mystery lingers like a riddle written in starlight. It is humbling to realize that most of the universe is invisible, that we are shaped by something we cannot even see. And yet perhaps that is what makes it beautiful. The stars dazzle us with their fire, but it is the unseen skeleton that holds them in place. We walk under the night sky believing we see everything, when in truth we see almost nothing. The visible universe is just the foam on the surface of a vast dark ocean. Beneath it lies the invisible world of dark matter, a silent architect shaping the cosmos while remaining forever hidden. It is a reminder that the most powerful forces are often the quietest ones, and that not everything real must be visible to be true. Now imagine drifting beyond our galaxy, out into the intergalactic dark. The stars thin out until they are just faint freckles of light. Between them stretches the great black sea, silent and endless. Somewhere out here, dark matter floats in vast halos, invisible continents holding galaxies like lanterns in the dark. It has no glow, no heat, no voice. Yet it holds the universe together, patient as stone, quiet as snowfall. And as you drift through that endless night, you may feel a strange comfort in knowing that even the darkness cradles the stars. Dark matter is a quiet mystery, and mysteries have a way of pulling us closer the more they drift away. The more scientists study it, the more they find themselves gazing into a mirror made of night, searching for reflections that never appear. Yet its presence whispers from every corner of the cosmos. The orbits of stars, the shapes of galaxies, the growth of cosmic structures, all of them carry the hidden signature of something unseen. It is as though the universe wears a veil, and we are gently lifting its edge with trembling hands, unsure what might lie beneath. This veil has shaped everything we know, though it has never allowed us to see its face. To understand how dark matter has shaped the universe, imagine the early cosmos as a vast, cooling ocean of light and particles. About 380,000 years after the birth of time, the first atoms formed and light was freed to roam. This light still echoes around us as the cosmic microwave background, a soft glow filling all of space. Within that ancient light are faint ripples, tiny differences in temperature, like the first delicate wrinkles on the surface of a pond. Those ripples were the seeds of everything: galaxies, stars, planets, and life itself. And hidden in those seeds was dark matter, gathering silently, pulling the newborn universe into shape. Without its invisible gravity, those ripples would have faded like breath on glass. Instead, they grew, drawn together by unseen hands. Dark matter acted like scaffolding, building invisible frameworks where ordinary matter could gather. Hydrogen gas flowed along its unseen filaments, settling into the dark valleys of gravity. There it cooled, condensed, and eventually ignited into the first stars. Those stars burned and died, forging heavier elements, scattering them into space and seeding new generations of stars. Entire galaxies grew like glowing coral reefs on the skeleton of darkness. This is why scientists sometimes call dark matter the cosmic web's backbone. Without it, the universe would be a diffuse fog, a lonely mist of atoms drifting endlessly apart. Instead, it is a rich and textured tapestry, knotted together by something we cannot see. Even today, when astronomers run giant computer simulations of the universe, they must include dark matter for the cosmos to make sense. In these virtual universes, trillions of particles swirl through digital darkness, forming tangled webs of filaments and nodes. Ordinary matter clumps along these dark threads, glowing like dew on a spider's web. The simulated galaxies grow in the same patterns we observe through telescopes, their shapes sculpted by the hidden skeleton beneath. If the dark matter is removed from the simulation, the galaxies collapse or never form at all. They simply do not exist without their invisible anchor. It is humbling to realize that most of what shaped the stars and the worlds around them is something our eyes will never see. This hidden architecture does not only shape galaxies, it shapes time itself. The slow growth of structure in the universe has been guided by the pull of dark matter for billions of years. Its gravity drew the first galaxies together into clusters and superclusters. It stretched filaments of matter across the void, linking galaxy groups like luminous pearls on invisible strings. As these structures grew, they created gravitational wells deep. Valleys in the fabric of space-time, where light bends and time itself flows more slowly. Even the flow of moments, the rhythm of cosmic time, is shaped by the weight of darkness. We live our brief lives inside valleys carved by something that does not shine. Dark matter also shapes the story of our own Milky Way. Our galaxy spins like a luminous pinwheel, yet it is wrapped in an enormous halo of dark matter. This halo stretches far beyond the outermost stars, extending hundreds of thousands of light years into the dark. It is so large that it outweighs all the stars, planets, and gas in the Milky Way by several times. Without this halo's pull, the stars at the galaxy's edges would drift away, peeling off like petals in the wind. Instead, they stay, whirling gracefully around the center as though held by invisible strings. The Earth, our sun, our entire history, all of it is quietly cradled inside this unseen cocoon. Scientists have tried to measure this halo's shape, using the motions of distant stars as tracers. These stars are like glowing embers tossed into the dark, their orbits curling and looping under invisible forces. From their paths, astronomers can map the faint silhouette of the dark matter halo, like sketching the shape of a bird from the motion of its shadow. The result is a ghostly sphere surrounding our galaxy, vast and quiet, almost unimaginably empty yet unimaginably heavy. It is an ocean of silence, holding the bright islands of the Milky Way afloat. Some of the most poetic clues about dark matter come from collisions between galaxy clusters. When clusters crash together, their hot gas slams and slows like colliding waves, but the dark matter sails through untouched. Astronomers can see this in a cosmic tableau called the bullet cluster. Here, the hot gas glows brightly in X-rays, while the dark matter, mapped by its gravitational lensing, has slipped ahead like ghosts gliding through fog. It is one of the clearest signs that dark matter is something real and separate, not just a trick of gravity or a misreading of light. Watching these colossal collisions is like watching shadows dance apart from their bodies, proving they are more than illusions. And yet, despite this silent evidence, dark matter has never touched us in return. It does not collide, spark, or glow. It does not gather into planets or stars. It seems to pass through itself without friction, as though it lives in a parallel layer of reality, overlapping ours but never quite meeting it. This is why it is so difficult to study. Every telescope we build is blind to it, because telescopes see only light and dark matter makes none. It is like trying to catch the outline of wind with your hands. And still, scientists persist, building ever more sensitive detectors in deep underground caves, hoping that one day one particle will whisper back. There is a strange comfort in this persistence. To chase something invisible for decades, to listen to the silence and not give up, this is its own kind of wonder. It shows that curiosity is stronger than darkness. The universe has hidden most of itself from us, and yet we keep searching. Each night, observatories sweep the skies, mapping the delicate distortions of starlight caused by hidden gravity. Each day, researchers refine their theories, sculpting invisible possibilities with the chisel of mathematics. They speak softly of WIMPs and axions, sterile neutrinos and hidden dimensions, like poets naming stars that no one has yet seen. Perhaps the search itself is part of the answer, a reminder that the unknown can be a companion, not just an absence. Dark matter teaches us something gentle about our place in the cosmos. We are used to thinking of ourselves as central, as if the visible universe is all there is. But dark matter reminds us that we live in the thin glowing foam on the surface of a vast dark ocean. The true structure of reality lies beneath, quiet and unseen, holding us without ever showing its face. There is humility in this thought, but also peace. The stars do not need to be the whole of the story. Their beauty is made possible by something they cannot see, and perhaps ours is too. We are the visible dreams of an invisible world. As you sit beneath the night sky and watch the stars scatter like salt across black velvet, know that their patterns are not random. They are suspended on invisible threads. Those threads run through you as well, through every cell and heartbeat, through every atom in your bones. The same gravity that binds galaxies holds you gently to the earth, and wrapped around you, passing through you, drifting through the quiet air as you breathe, is the same dark matter that built the first stars. It is older than memory, older than time, older than light itself. It does not speak, yet it holds everything you love in place. And perhaps that is enough, not to see it, but to know that it is there. There is something deeply human about longing to see what cannot be seen. Perhaps that is why dark matter holds us in such wonder, not because it hides, but because it invites us to imagine. It is the echo of a word we have not yet learned, the shadow of a melody we have not yet heard. In the hush of observatories at night, when telescopes sweep their silent arcs across the heavens, scientists are not only measuring the stars, they are listening for this quiet song, hoping that somewhere in the stillness, the unseen might hum back. Every measurement, every equation is a hand outstretched in the dark, searching for a touch that may never come and yet still reaching. To seek dark matter is to practice patience on a cosmic scale. The universe took billions of years to grow the structures we see today, and it will take us time to untangle the roots of that growth. The invisible skeleton of the cosmos is not easily revealed. Each clue is faint and fragile, hidden inside the soft flicker of ancient light or the slow drift of starlight over decades. Scientists trace these clues the way one might follow the footprints of a snow fox through a silent forest, delicate, vanishing at the edges, yet leading somewhere. And though they walk through cold and darkness, they walk with wonder. There is beauty in not knowing, in leaning close to mystery instead of conquering it. Even if we never capture a dark matter particle, even if it always stays just beyond reach, it has already changed the way we see the universe. It has taught us that what is essential may be invisible. This is not a defeat. It is a soft kind of triumph, like discovering that love exists without needing to see it, or that wind shapes mountains though it cannot be held. Dark matter's silence reminds us that the universe does not owe us its secrets, yet it offers them slowly, like seeds on the breeze. We must be gentle to catch them. We must be still enough to listen. In our own lives, there are echoes of this invisible presence. We are built of atoms forged in stars, yet we are also shaped by things we cannot measure: memory, longing, trust, hope. They are as real as gravity, though they leave no mark on a scale. They guide the arcs of our lives the way dark matter guides the arcs of galaxies. You cannot touch a promise, yet it can hold your entire future in place. You cannot hold a dream in your hand, yet it can pull you through years of darkness. In this way, dark matter is not alien at all. It is familiar. It reminds us that the unseen is not empty, and that the most powerful forces are often the quietest. Perhaps one day, far in the future, someone will finally glimpse it. Maybe a detector buried deep under ancient rock will quiver as a dark matter particle brushes it like the wing of a moth. Maybe a new kind of telescope will see the invisible threads of the cosmic web shimmering faintly, like frost catching moonlight. That moment, if it comes, will be quiet. There will be no explosion, no blazing revelation, only a soft ripple in the stillness, the sound of mystery breathing. And even then, the wonder will not end. Knowing what dark matter is will not erase the awe of knowing it was there all along, holding the stars in its invisible hands. Until that day, it remains a companion in the dark. Every night when we look up, we see the gleaming tip of an iceberg of light floating on a vast sea of darkness. That sea is not emptiness. It is the quiet architecture that carries everything we love. It has no glow, yet it shapes the glow. It has no voice, yet it carries every song. Dark matter is the frame around every galaxy, the cradle for every star, the silent ground upon which the dance of light unfolds. Without it, the universe would have scattered into dust, and there would be no eyes to wonder at it. And so we drift in this cosmic cradle, wrapped in something we cannot see. We breathe under a sky woven with invisible threads, walking on a world held together by unseen hands. Even our thoughts, sparking quietly in the dark folds of our minds, are part of this delicate structure born of stardust, carried by gravity, sheltered by the unseen. The mystery of dark matter is not just about the cosmos, it is about us. It whispers that our lives, like the galaxies, are shaped by forces we cannot name, and that this is not something to fear, but something to cherish. It means we are part of something vast, ancient, and tender. As the stars wheel slowly overhead, they trace circles that will outlast us by ages. And yet, in their patient paths, they tell us something simple and soft, that what holds the universe together is not always visible, not always loud, not always known. Sometimes it is silence that carries everything. Sometimes it is darkness that gives shape to the light. And sometimes the most real things are the ones we will never see, but will always feel, like gravity, like love, like the invisible skeleton of the cosmos, holding us gently as we dream. The night sky looks so clean from far away as every star floats in a lonely pocket of silence. Yet this neatness is an illusion. The galaxies are not scattered like coins tossed on velvet. They are bound by hidden threads, clustered like petals frozen in midair. These threads are made of something that does not glow or burn, something without shimmer or spark. Scientists call it dark matter, but it behaves more like shadow than substance. It is the silent lattice that holds the stars together, though it has no light of its own. It carries the galaxies as a spider's silk carries dew, invisible until it glistens under the faintest touch of starlight. If you could rise above the universe and see it all at once, you would not see a smooth ocean of stars. You would see a sprawling web. Filaments of galaxies stretch across unimaginable distances, knotted at intersections like bright beads on invisible threads. Between those threads lie vast voids, emptier than anything we can imagine. This cosmic web is shaped almost entirely by dark matter. Long ago, when the universe was young and soft, dark matter gathered first, pooling like cold fog in the low places of space. Ordinary matter followed, trickling into the same wells, cooling and condensing, kindling the first stars. Without the hidden pull of these shadows, the galaxies could never have gathered. There would be no spirals of starlight, no golden clusters, no delicate disks of light spinning in the dark. The stars themselves tell the story of this invisible glue. They orbit their galaxies at dizzying speeds, like fireflies caught in a whirlpool. According to the rules of gravity, many of them should have been flung into the void long ago, yet they cling as though held by invisible hands. This strange defiance was the first hint of dark matter's power. In the 1970s, astronomers carefully measured the speeds of stars circling their galaxies. They found something unsettling. The stars at the edges moved just as fast as those near the center. That should have been impossible. The galaxies should have unraveled like spinning leaves, but they held together, wrapped in halos of something unseen. Those halos are made of dark matter, vast, ghostly spheres extending far beyond the edges of visible starlight, like the echo of a bell that never fades. Imagine walking through an old forest at night. The trees stand silent, their trunks etched in faint silver by moonlight. You can see their shapes, but not the wind moving between them. You can feel it, though, brushing your skin, tugging at your hair. Dark matter is like that wind. It moves between the galaxies, around them, through them. We cannot see it, but we can see the way it shapes everything. Its gravity bends the paths of stars, steers the flows of gas, even warps the fabric of space itself. It is not the bright song of the universe, but the deep hum beneath it, the slow rhythm that carries the melody. And though it has no color or glow, it is more abundant than all the stars and planets combined. Nearly 5 times more of the universe is made from this shadowy stuff than from everything we can see. Even light itself bows to dark matter's pull. As it travels through the cosmos, starlight bends around invisible masses, curling like silk caught in a breeze. This bending, called gravitational lensing, lets astronomers map the shape of dark matter without ever seeing it. They study the way distant galaxies appear stretched or smeared, like reflections in rippling water, and from those distortions they trace the outlines of the hidden structures beneath. It is like watching ripples in a pond to learn the shape of the stones below. And as they map these ghostly outlines, they see the same pattern again and again, bright islands of galaxies perched on invisible foundations of darkness. What makes dark matter even stranger is its silence. It does not crash together, spark, or shine. It passes through itself like mist through mist. It does not form stars or planets. It does not glow with heat or burn with fusion. It seems to exist alongside our familiar world but never fully touches it, like a shadow that never quite meets the ground, and yet it outweighs everything we know. This is why scientists call it the most successful failure in modern science. It explains almost everything yet refuses to be found. Decades of searching have not captured a single dark matter particle. Deep underground laboratories wait in silence, shielded from cosmic rays, their detectors cooled to near absolute zero, listening for the faintest whisper. So far, dark matter has kept its silence, like a secret the universe is not ready to share. But even if it stays silent, its story keeps growing. Supercomputer simulations show how the first galaxies formed around the knots of dark matter. Over billions of years, these galaxies gathered into clusters, the clusters into superclusters, weaving the immense filaments we see today. The pattern is always the same: light gathered where darkness. SS-led, the stars are followers, not leaders, glowing where the invisible mass had already carved the way. It is a humbling thought that everything bright is cradled by something unseen. Our entire Milky Way drifts inside a vast dark halo like a lantern floating in deep water. This halo is billions of times more massive than our sun, yet it lets the stars shine undisturbed, as though protecting them from the restless tides of the void. There is something comforting about this hidden support. The universe looks fragile when you see only the stars, like frost that could melt under a warm breath. But knowing that dark matter holds them together gives the cosmos a quiet strength. It is like discovering that a spider's web, though delicate, can bear the weight of morning dew because its strength lies in its design. Dark matter is the design of the universe, the invisible architecture on which everything bright is hung. We are used to thinking of light as strong and darkness as weak, but here the opposite is true. The darkness bears the weight, the light merely reveals it. And so the stars go on spinning, held in their quiet embrace. They will spin for billions more years, tracing the outlines of halos we cannot see. Whether we ever catch a dark matter particle or not, we are already shaped by it. Every star we see tonight exists because these invisible shadows held it long enough to shine. Every galaxy is a lantern cupped in unseen hands, and we ourselves, drifting on a small blue world at the edge of a spiral arm, are part of this balance too. We live in the shallows of an invisible ocean, unaware of the depth beneath our feet, and though we may never see its surface, we are held by its tides. The shadows that hold the stars together are not just silent, they are patient. For billions of years, dark matter has been shaping the cosmos without seeking attention, like roots growing quietly beneath a forest. It does not blaze or roar, but its influence is everywhere, steady and unhurried. The stars may flash and fade, but the dark matter endures, carrying their orbits as gently as the sea carries drifting boats. It has seen the rise and fall of galaxies, the birth of suns, the quiet collapse of ancient light into black holes, and through it all it has remained invisible. It is the unchanging breath beneath the shifting winds of the cosmos. To understand how much it has shaped our world, imagine rewinding the universe. Galaxies collapse back into gas, stars dissolve into hydrogen fog, and time drifts toward its first dawn. In this newborn universe, there is no light yet, only a glowing haze like the warmth of a candle hidden inside milk. Within this haze, dark matter gathers silently, clustering in cold knots long before the first stars flicker. It has no charge to spark, no heat to shine, yet its gravity pulls the ordinary matter into its waiting arms. Where dark matter gathers, light will follow. It is as though the darkness is dreaming of stars and those dreams become real. Without those first hidden seeds, nothing bright could have grown. No galaxies, no planets, no life. Astronomers can still see the imprint of this ancient gathering in the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang. This faint light has been traveling for nearly 14 billion years, washing over everything like the distant echo of a forgotten song. When scientists map it, they see tiny ripples, patches just slightly warmer or cooler than their surroundings. Those ripples are the fingerprints of dark matter. The denser patches gathered more dark matter, which pulled in more gas, which sparked the first stars. The smoother patches remained empty, vast cosmic deserts where almost nothing ever formed. It is strange and humbling that our entire galaxy, our entire history, began as a faint wrinkle in that ancient glow, drawn together by something that still hides from our eyes. Today, those ripples have grown into a cosmic web stretching across the universe. Enormous filaments of dark matter thread between clusters of galaxies, linking them into a single sprawling structure. Some of these filaments are hundreds of millions of light-years long, strands so vast they defy comprehension. Ordinary matter pools along them, forming the galaxies we can see. It is like watching frost grow across a windowpane, delicate branching lines, beautiful yet fragile, guided by unseen forces. We are one tiny crystal in that frost, balanced delicately on a dark thread. The night sky looks calm, but underneath is a tension like stretched silk, the quiet pull of darkness holding everything in place. Even within our own Milky Way, dark matter shapes every motion. It surrounds the galaxy in a massive halo, far larger than the glowing disk of stars. This halo is so diffuse we could pass through it without ever feeling a thing, yet so massive it outweighs the visible galaxy many times over. Without it, the Milky Way would have unraveled long ago. Its stars flung out like sparks from a dying fire. Instead, they circle in graceful spirals, bound to invisible currents. The sun's journey around the galaxy takes more than 200 million years, and through that entire path, dark matter carries us like a current carries a drifting leaf. We are passengers in its slow, silent tide. Astronomers try to map this halo by studying the motions of distant stars and clusters. These ancient stars are like glowing buoys bobbing in a dark sea, their movements tugged by currents we cannot see. By tracing their paths, scientists sketch the faint outline of the dark halo, like drawing the shape of a bird from the arc of its shadow. What they find is astonishing. The halo is not a neat sphere but a loose cloud, lopsided and rippling, as though stirred by the galaxy's own spin. It is like a soft cocoon cradling the Milky Way, flexing gently as the stars move inside. We live in its center, yet we only see its touch in the way the stars stay close. Dark matter's influence reaches even deeper, into the flow of time itself. Einstein showed that gravity bends space and slows time. Massive objects make valleys in the fabric of reality, and time flows more slowly inside those valleys. Dark matter's vast mass sculpts enormous basins in space-time, invisible wells where the moments linger. When we look at galaxy clusters, we see light delayed, bent and stretched by these unseen hollows. Even the ticking of cosmic time is shaped by darkness. We live our lives in seconds and hours, but those seconds run slower in the hearts of galaxies, where the dark matter's pull is strongest. The universe's rhythm, the silent metronome of time, beats slower because of it. And yet, for all its power, dark matter is elusive. It refuses to reveal its nature. It could be made of WIMPs, weakly interacting massive particles that drift through us like ghosts. It could be axions, whisper-like particles that shimmer only in the presence of magnetic fields. It could be something stranger still, perhaps hidden dimensions folded like silk between the threads of our reality. Scientists build detectors deep underground, buried beneath mountains to shield them from stray radiation, waiting for the faintest tap of a passing particle. They watch for tiny flashes in crystals, minute vibrations in supercooled metals. But so far, the darkness has not stirred. It glides past unseen, like a shadow slipping over still water. This refusal is not discouraging. It is part of what makes the search so profound. The universe has hidden most of itself, and yet we continue to look, patient as the darkness itself. Every night, observatories scan the heavens, measuring how starlight bends and stretches as it crosses the hidden filaments. Every year, simulations grow more precise, recreating the birth of galaxies on supercomputers that hum like distant beehives. It is like listening to an echo to find the shape of a canyon you cannot see. And though the canyon stays hidden, the echo teaches you its depth. In this way, dark matter teaches us to trust what we cannot touch, to follow the subtle curve of evidence even when the thing itself stays invisible. There is something deeply poetic in this trust. We are made of the bright matter that clings to dark matter's threads, yet we are drawn to the darkness more than the light. It is not fear that draws us, but longing to know what holds us, to see the hands that cradle the stars. And maybe that longing is enough. Maybe the purpose of dark matter is not to be captured, but to remind us that not everything real can be seen. The galaxies do not see their own halos, yet they are shaped by them. Perhaps we too are shaped by invisible forces we will never name. Memory, love, hope, all as unseen and all as powerful. They hold our lives together as dark matter holds the stars. On clear nights, when you stand under the scattered glitter of the Milky Way, you are looking through an ocean of dark matter. It passes through your body, through the ground, through the air. Trillions of its particles drift through you every second, quiet as breath. They leave no mark, yet without them you would not exist. The atoms in your bones, the iron in your blood, the spark in your thoughts, all are descendants of stars that only formed because dark matter held the galaxies together long enough for them to shine. We are the bright embers of an invisible fire. The shadows that hold the stars together also hold us, even if we never see them, and maybe that is enough. It is strange how something we cannot see can feel so intimate. Dark matter has never brushed our skin or sparkled in our eyes, yet it carries our entire world. It is the quiet background of everything we know, like the silence that lets music exist. Without silence, sound would be noise. Without dark matter, light would be chaos. The stars shine because something unseen holds them steady, as a painter steadies a trembling hand to draw a delicate line, and we, without realizing it, have been following those lines since the beginning, tracing the invisible paths of darkness across the sky. Perhaps that is what makes this search so haunting. We are creatures of light, yet what we see is only a thin layer on the surface of something much deeper. We build telescopes to catch photons, detectors to count particles, computers to model whole universes, and all the while dark matter drifts past like a tide we cannot touch. Its silence is not cruel, it is simply patient. It has been here since before the first stars, and it will remain long after the last ones fade. It does not need to be found to be real. It only needs to keep holding the stars together, the way gravity has always done, quietly and without asking to be noticed. In this way, dark matter is like the unseen bonds in our own lives. We measure the visible things, the words spoken, the steps taken, but the things that hold us together are quieter. Trust, kindness, memory, love. You cannot weigh them or bottle them, but they shape the orbits of our lives the way dark matter shapes the orbits of galaxies. You can go years without seeing them directly, yet if they vanished, everything would fly apart. The stars would scatter without dark matter. We would scatter without these invisible bonds. The shadows that hold the stars together are not so different from the shadows that hold us. Someday, perhaps far in the future, someone may finally glimpse a dark matter particle. It might be a faint flicker deep underground, a single spark in a crystal that waited in silence for decades. It might be a strange new signal from space, a whisper that does not match anything we know. If that moment comes, it will not be loud, it will not be fireworks or thunder. It will be quiet, like finding a long-lost letter pressed between the pages of an old book. A soft proof that the shadows were real all along, and even then, the wonder will remain. Knowing what it is will not make it less beautiful. If anything, it may make it more so, because we will finally see how something so gentle could shape everything. But even if we never see it, the mystery is not empty. It is full of meaning. The fact that we can feel its pull without ever touching it is a reminder that not all truths must be visible. The galaxies do not see their halos, yet they move in their embrace. We do not see time, yet we are carried through it. We do not see dark matter, yet it holds our entire universe together. There is a peace in accepting that some things can be real without being seen. It frees us from needing to catch every truth in our hands. Some truths can be carried in the heart instead. As the universe grows older, the stars will burn out one by one. Their light will dim, their warmth will fade, and only the quiet pull of gravity will remain. In that far future, when the night sky is empty, dark matter will still be here, silent as ever, still holding the remnants of galaxies in its unseen arms. It will be the last architect of the cosmos, the final caretaker of everything. Long after we are gone, after our words and songs and stories have dissolved like mist, the shadows will remain, carrying the faint ashes of stars through the dark. There is something comforting in that thought, that even when light fades, something will still hold the pieces gently together. We often think of darkness as an absence, a void where nothing exists, but dark matter shows us that darkness can be full of strength, of structure, of quiet care. It does not shine, yet it carries all that shines. It does not speak, yet it lets every star sing. It is not emptiness, but embrace. The shadows that hold the stars together are not cold or cruel. They are patient, they are tender. They are the soft hands beneath the bright dance of the cosmos, never asking to be seen, only to keep holding. And so we live our small lives on a fragile world, spinning inside a galaxy suspended on threads of darkness. We look up and see light, but we are held by shadow. We measure what glows, but we are carried by what does not. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought unfolds inside a structure older than light, older than memory, older than time. Dark matter has been here since before our atoms existed, and it will be here after they are gone. It does not need our eyes to be real. It only needs to keep holding quietly, as it always has. Tonight, as you watch the stars scatter like seeds across the black sky, remember that their patterns are not chance. They are held in place by invisible threads. Those threads run through you as well, through your bones, your blood, your dreams. You are part of the same design, the same quiet strength. And though you may never see it, it will always be there. The shadows that hold the stars together, holding you too, gently and without end. Between the grand spirals of galaxies lies a darkness so deep it seems like nothing at all, from far away. The universe looks crowded with stars, but most of it is space, silent, cold, and apparently empty. Yet this darkness is not hollow. It hums with something unseen, a quiet presence stretched across unimaginable distances. Dark matter fills these spaces, flowing like invisible rivers between the galaxies. It does not shine or burn, but its gravity reaches across millions of light years, stitching the universe together like fine black thread. It is in these vast distances that dark matter whispers the loudest, though we cannot hear it, only feel its pull. When astronomers look at clusters of galaxies, they see cities of light floating in black seas. The galaxies swirl around one another like glowing leaves caught in an invisible whirlpool. By all logic, they should scatter into the dark. Their speeds are too fast, their orbits too loose, yet they remain together as if cupped in unseen hands. This is the quiet strength of dark matter. It forms halos around these galaxy clusters, immense clouds of invisible mass that outweigh all the stars combined. Without them, the clusters would fly apart like birds startled into the sky. But the darkness holds them, gently and firmly, like roots holding a forest in place against the wind. One of the most haunting glimpses of this hidden mass comes from a place called the Bullet Cluster. Two galaxy clusters collided there long ago, their luminous gas clouds slamming together like crashing waves. The hot gas glows in X-rays, shining like embers in the dark. But when astronomers mapped the gravity in the region, they found something strange. Most of the mass had passed through the collision untouched, slipping past like ghosts while the visible matter slowed and tangled. That invisible mass was dark matter. It moved on silently, like shadows drifting beyond reach, carrying the galaxies with it. It was one of the clearest signs that something unseen was shaping everything. Dark matter does not only cradle the galaxies we can see, it fills the empty-looking space between them, forming filaments hundreds of millions of light-years long. These filaments are the skeleton of the universe, the quiet scaffolding on which all structure hangs. Galaxies cluster where the filaments knot together, like dew gathering where strands of a web cross. The spaces between the filaments are immense voids, nearly empty, like the still air between distant mountaintops. And yet even there, faint streams of dark matter flow, too thin to hold stars but strong enough to bend the paths of light. When astronomers map the shapes of distant galaxies, they see them subtly stretched, as if viewed through a curved lens. That lens is the gravity of dark matter, bending space like a finger pressing into soft cloth. Light travels for billions of years across the darkness, and in that time even the faintest tug can change its path. This is how we know dark matter is real, not by seeing it directly, but by seeing how it bends the light of things behind it. It is like noticing ripples on a pond where an invisible fish swims beneath the surface. The ripples give away what the eyes cannot see. In this way, dark matter leaves fingerprints all over the cosmos. The galaxies are its shadows, tracing its presence without revealing its face. It is a strange kind of evidence, proof born from silence, but it is enough to show us that the space between galaxies is not empty at all. It is full of invisible weight, full of quiet structure, full of whispers. In the early universe, these whispers guided everything. The first atoms floated freely in a hot fog after the Big Bang, too scattered to form stars. But dark matter gathered into invisible knots, pulling the gas toward itself like hidden magnets. Over millions of years, the gas cooled and collapsed into the first galaxies, tiny sparks of light glowing in vast seas of dark. Those galaxies grew along the filaments, merging into bigger and brighter systems, until they became the spirals and clusters we see today. The space between them never went silent. It still hums with dark matter, still pulls on everything around it, still carries the soft shape of those first invisible seeds. The galaxies are like petals drifting on an unseen current, carried by the same quiet tide that carried the first stars into being. Even now, our own Milky Way drifts through this invisible ocean. It sails inside a giant dark matter halo, but beyond its edges stretches an even greater web of darkness, linking it to every other galaxy we see. Between the Milky Way and the nearby Andromeda galaxy, between the clusters and superclusters, lie these strands of shadow, gently tugging them closer together. In billions of years, Andromeda will collide with our galaxy, drawn by the slow pull of their shared dark filaments. The stars will merge and scatter, but the dark matter will glide through the collision untouched, like mist passing through mist. Long after the new galaxy settles, its shape will still be wrapped around an invisible frame. We often imagine space as lonely, as though each galaxy is an isolated island. But they are not alone. They are bound together by something stronger than distance. Dark matter's gravity reaches far beyond what we can see, holding galaxies in delicate balance. It keeps the universe from falling apart, but it also keeps it from collapsing. Its invisible pull is just strong enough to knit the cosmos together, but not so strong that it crushes it. This perfect balance allowed stars and planets, and us, to exist at all. The space between galaxies may seem empty, but it is the very thing that lets the galaxies endure. There is a quiet beauty in this hidden connection. The night sky looks scattered, random, but it is not. Every point of light is part of a vast, unseen pattern, each galaxy strung like a pearl on a dark thread. We cannot see the threads, but they are there, humming softly across the void. If you could drift beyond the edge of our galaxy and look back, you would see it not as an isolated spiral, but as one shimmering bead in a boundless lace of light. The darkness between the galaxies would glow faintly in your mind, not with light, but with meaning. It would be like seeing the spaces between notes in a song, the silence that lets the melody breathe. And perhaps that is what dark matter is, the silence of the universe. Not emptiness, but the pause that makes everything else possible. It is not absence, but structure. It does not cry out to be seen, it simply holds. It carries galaxies the way a calm sea carries drifting ships, quietly, invisibly, endlessly. And though we may never see it directly, We can hear its whispers in the way the stars move, the way the light bends, the way the universe holds itself together like a sleeping child cradled by unseen arms. The space between galaxies looks still, but it is full of movement we cannot see. Dark matter flows there like invisible wind, bending the paths of stars and sculpting the shapes of galaxy clusters. It does not swirl quickly or rage like storms. It drifts slowly, patient as glaciers, moving on scales of billions of years. Its motion is so vast and so quiet that it feels more like the breathing of the universe than any kind of storm. We think of the galaxies as travelers, sailing through the void, but in truth they are passengers on these hidden currents. Every spiral, every cluster, every shimmering arc of starlight rides on the unseen tide of dark matter flowing between them. Astronomers have traced these tides by studying the cosmic web, the immense lattice of filaments stretching across the universe. These filaments are not made of light, yet they shape where light can gather. When we map the locations of millions of galaxies, they form long strands and branching walls like frost on a window or veins in a leaf. The spaces between them are vast voids, empty of almost everything but thin whispers of dark matter. This pattern is not random. It echoes the shape of the early universe, when faint ripples in the cosmic microwave background marked the places where dark matter first pooled. Those pools grew into rivers, the rivers into threads, and the threads into the web we see today. It is like watching ancient roots spread through soil, unseen yet guiding everything that grows above them. Within this web, dark matter not only shapes where galaxies form, it controls how they move. Galaxies at the edges of clusters are pulled inward along the filaments, as if sliding down invisible hills. Sometimes they meet and merge, their stars mixing like colors in a slow cosmic swirl. The dark matter passes through these collisions untouched, gliding on while the stars ignite and shatter. Over time, the filaments funnel galaxies into larger and larger clusters, like streams feeding a lake. Even the empty spaces are part of this flow, their silence carved by the weight of the surrounding darkness. The voids are like hollows between the roots of a forest, shaped by the very things that seem far away. What is most astonishing is how thin these dark filaments can be and still carry such power. In the spaces between galaxies, dark matter is spread out thinner than smoke, so faint that billions of particles could drift through your hand without ever touching a single atom. Yet because there is so much of it stretching across such immense distances, its gravity adds up to something vast. It is like the pull of the ocean. No single drop can move a ship, but together they can carry it across the world. This quiet pull draws entire galaxies together, stitching the cosmos with threads that weigh more than all the stars combined. The galaxies glow only where the dark filaments have already passed, as if the light is simply the trace of their footsteps. Astronomers can sometimes catch glimpses of these dark threads, using a technique called weak gravitational lensing. They study how the shapes of distant galaxies are slightly stretched. Like reflections in rippling water, the distortions are tiny, but they reveal the invisible mass in front of them. When millions of galaxies are mapped this way, the pattern becomes clear, a vast hidden web connecting everything. It is as if the darkness between galaxies has been dusted with flour, showing the faint outlines of the threads. These maps are not just scientific, they are strangely beautiful. They look like cosmic lace, delicate and sprawling, and they whisper of how much lies hidden in the silence between the stars. Even our own galaxy is part of this web. The Milky Way is anchored to the local group, a small cluster of galaxies drifting together through space. This cluster itself lies in a filament that stretches toward the Virgo cluster, and beyond that into the even larger Laniakea supercluster, a continent of galaxies bound together by gravity. Dark matter flows between all of them, linking their fates like invisible bridges. When the Milky Way and Andromeda finally collide billions of years from now, their stars will scatter and merge, but the dark matter halos around them will pass through each other almost unchanged. After the new galaxy forms, it will still be wrapped around those same ancient shadows. The whispers between the galaxies will go on as they always have. The idea that space is full of something we cannot see is hard to hold in the mind. Our senses tell us that empty space is nothing, but dark matter teaches us that emptiness can have weight. The space between galaxies is not void, it is structure. It is full of slow gravity, like a vast invisible net cradling the stars. Without it, the galaxies would not have formed, and even if they had, they would have drifted apart long ago. Instead, they gather like constellations on a black sea, their light floating on hidden tides. It is humbling to realize that everything bright depends on something silent, and that the silence itself is what endures. This hidden support is not just a physical truth, it carries a kind of quiet philosophy. It shows us that what is unseen can be essential, and that strength does not need to be loud. Dark matter never announces itself, never demands attention, yet it shapes everything. It is like the deep roots of an ancient tree, buried, unseen, yet holding up the entire forest. The stars are the leaves, bright and fleeting, but they are nothing without the roots. We are drawn to the glitter of the leaves, but the roots are what last. This is how dark matter lives between the galaxies, not as a display, but as endurance, not as brilliance, but as balance. And in a way, this mirrors our own lives. The most important forces are often invisible. We build our days from things we cannot measure: love, trust, memory, and they hold us just as dark matter holds the stars. You cannot weigh a promise, but it shapes your path. You cannot see time passing, but it carries you through years. The galaxies glide between dark matter's filaments the way we glide between the unseen strands of our own histories. We are stitched into the universe by the same quiet logic, our lives hung on invisible threads. The whispers between the galaxies are not just cosmic, they are human. They remind us that we are part of something vast and hidden, something that holds us even when we do not notice. If you stand beneath a dark sky and look up long enough, you can almost feel it. The stars seem scattered, but there is a subtle order beneath them, a rhythm too slow for the eye to see. That rhythm is dark matter, pulling gently at everything, keeping the galaxies from drifting apart. It moves through you as well, through every cell, through every thought, though you never feel its touch. It does not need to be felt, it only needs to hold. And it does quietly, endlessly, with the patience of the universe itself. There is a stillness in the spaces between galaxies that feels almost sacred. When we imagine the universe, we think of blazing stars and spiraling galaxies, but most of it is silence, vast black plains where light has never touched. And yet this silence is not empty. It is full of something invisible, something ancient, something that has been here since before the first stars. Dark matter drifts there, unhurried and unseen, holding the galaxies apart and yet binding them together. It is the gentle tension in a spider's web, the invisible breath between the notes of a song. The stars sing, but the silence carries their music. Perhaps this is why the idea of dark matter lingers so deeply in our minds. It is not just a scientific puzzle. It is a reflection of our own longing to understand what holds the world together. We live surrounded by visible things, buildings, trees, oceans, fire, and we imagine they are all that is real. But the more we study the universe, the more it whispers that most of what exists cannot be seen. We look into the dark between galaxies and find not emptiness but structure, not chaos but order, the G. Galaxies are not scattered like dust, they are arranged like beads on hidden strings. And though those strings are invisible, they have held their shape for billions of years, as if the cosmos itself trusts them. This hidden trust has shaped everything we know. Dark matter gave the universe its framework, its cosmic skeleton. It guided the first clouds of gas to gather, the first stars to flare, the first galaxies to spin. It linked them into chains and walls and clusters, stretched them across the void like bright stitches on black cloth. Even now, as the universe expands and the galaxies drift farther apart, those invisible filaments still hold them in quiet balance. They are the whispers between the galaxies, soft but unbreakable. Without them, the stars would scatter into nothing, and there would be no worlds to wonder, no minds to dream. We may never see dark matter directly. It does not glow or spark. It leaves no footprint we can follow, no particle we can catch. It passes through the earth, through our bodies, through our lives, unnoticed and undisturbed. And yet everything we see depends on it. The galaxies only exist because something unseen holds them long enough to shine. This truth can feel unsettling, as if the ground beneath us were made of air, but it can also feel comforting. It means that even when we cannot see what supports us, something is still there. The universe has been held for billions of years by hands we cannot see. It has not fallen yet, and it will not soon. There is a kind of peace in this invisibility. Dark matter does not demand our attention. It does not flash or roar or rush. It simply holds, and in that holding it gives everything else the chance to dance. It is like the quiet scaffolding behind a cathedral, unseen but essential. We admire the stained glass and the soaring arches, forgetting the hidden beams that let them stand. The galaxies are the stained glass. Dark matter is the scaffolding. Its silence is not absence, it is support. It is patience, it is care. And perhaps this is its quiet gift to us, not answers, but perspective. Dark matter reminds us that not everything powerful must be visible. We spend our lives chasing what glows, achievements, possessions, recognition. But the things that truly hold us are quieter. Love, memory, trust, wonder, these do not glitter, but they endure. They thread through our days like dark matter through the cosmos, unnoticed yet indispensable. If they were gone, our lives would unravel, just as the galaxies would without their hidden threads. The whispers between the galaxies are not so different from the whispers in our hearts. In the far future, when the stars grow cold and the galaxies fade into darkness, dark matter will still be here. The filaments will stretch on through the void, empty of light yet still carrying the shape of what once was. Long after the last star flickers out, the whispers will go on, holding the ashes of the cosmos in their invisible hands. They will not shine, but they will endure, patient as stone, soft as breath. The universe will be silent, but it will not be empty. It will be held, as it has always been, by something unseen. So when you look up into the night and see only scattered stars, remember that they are not alone. They are connected by invisible threads drawn together by forces older than light. Those threads reach across the darkness, through the space between galaxies, and through you as well. You are part of the same design, the same quiet web, the same enduring balance. The whispers between the galaxies are also whispering through you, telling you that you are not alone, that you are held, gently and endlessly, by something you may never see but can always trust. We are used to thinking of weight as something we can feel, a stone in the hand, the pull of the earth beneath our feet, the heaviness of rain-soaked clothes. But most of the weight of the universe cannot be touched at all. It does not press on our skin or echo through our bones. It does not glimmer like stars or burn like the sun. It floats through us unnoticed, invisible, and untouchable, yet it outweighs everything we know. This hidden mass is dark matter, and though it leaves no shadow, it shapes every star, every galaxy, every path of light. It is the weight of what we cannot touch, and it has been holding the universe together since the beginning of time. The galaxies we see are like lanterns drifting on a dark ocean. Their spirals blaze with billions of stars, yet all their shining light adds up to only a small fraction of the cosmos. Astronomers learned this when they measured how galaxies spin. The stars at their edges whirl so quickly that they should have been flung into space like sparks from a wheel. Yet they stay, circling their centers with quiet defiance. Something unseen must be anchoring them, something far heavier than the stars themselves. That something is dark matter. It forms enormous halos around. Every galaxy, vast spheres of invisible mass that outweigh the visible stars by 5 to 1. These halos are the silent anchors of the universe, the hidden ballast that keeps the galaxies from flying apart. Even the largest galaxy clusters, colossal swarms of thousands of galaxies, are bound together by dark matter. When astronomers weigh these clusters by adding up all their visible light, they find only a fraction of the mass needed to hold them together. The rest is unseen, hidden in vast clouds of dark matter that stretch far beyond the glowing galaxies. These clouds have no color or heat, but their gravity is strong enough to bend light itself. Distant galaxies behind them appear stretched and warped, like reflections seen through rippling glass. This bending, gravitational lensing, is one of the clearest signs of dark matter's weight. It does not shine, but it leaves deep footprints in the fabric of space. We can also see dark matter's weight in the way the universe grew. After the Big Bang, space was filled with a hot, smooth mist of particles. It should have stayed smooth forever, but it didn't. Tiny ripples in the density of that mist grew into galaxies and clusters, pulled together by invisible gravity. Dark matter gathered first, pooling into cold halos where gas could settle and form the first stars. Without that hidden weight, the gas would have remained too scattered to ever ignite. The galaxies are like campfires built on stones in the dark. The fires burn out quickly, but the stones endure. Long after the first stars lived and died, the dark matter halos that cradled them are still here, silent and unchanged. What makes this hidden weight so haunting is how intangible it is. It does not collide, does not stick, does not clump into planets or people. It passes through the Earth as though the planet were made of mist. It passes through us, trillions of particles every second like shadows flowing through air. We cannot feel it, but we are wrapped inside it, our lives unfolding in its invisible embrace. Our entire galaxy sails inside a dark matter halo that stretches for hundreds of thousands of light years, so large it could swallow dozens of galaxies and still have room to drift. This halo has no glow, yet it holds every star you have ever seen. It holds the sun, it holds the Earth, it holds you. Scientists have built elaborate experiments to try to catch even one particle of dark matter. They place detectors deep underground, beneath mountains and mines, shielded from cosmic rays and earthly noise. They fill them with crystals cooled to near absolute zero, waiting for a tiny spark, a single dark matter particle striking an atom like a snowflake brushing a bell. Decades have passed and the detectors remain silent. The particles keep slipping through, untouchable. This silence is not failure, it is the nature of the thing. Dark matter does not want to be caught. It is the gravity of absence, the weight of stillness, the substance of shadows. It leaves no trace except the way it bends the paths of everything around it. And yet, despite its silence, its presence is undeniable. We see it in the motions of stars, in the shapes of galaxies, in the growth of cosmic structures across billions of years. We see it in the ripples of the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang patterned by invisible hands. We see it in the way galaxy clusters hold together, and in the way their gravity bends the light behind them. It is everywhere, though it has never been seen. It is like the wind, unseen, untouchable, but real beyond doubt, because of the way it moves everything else. We know the weight of dark matter not by touching it, but by listening to the things it holds. This hidden weight also shapes time itself. Gravity bends space and slows time, and dark matter's vast mass bends both. In the deep wells of galaxy clusters where dark matter pools thickest, time runs more slowly than it does here on Earth. Light passing through those wells emerges stretched and red, its waves pulled longer by the invisible gravity. Even the rhythm of the universe is shaped by dark matter's pull. The seconds pass differently where its weight is greatest, like water slowing around stones in a river. It is strange to think that something we cannot touch touches time itself, pressing gently on the flow of moments like a hand on still water. There is something deeply humbling about this. We are small creatures who measure our lives by what we can hold, yet almost everything that exists cannot be held at all. We are made of bright matter, but we are carried by dark matter. It surrounds us, shapes us, protects us, yet we will never feel its touch. The stars we love are only the surface of a far deeper sea, and that sea is invisible. The galaxies are just foam on its dark waves. Our world is real, but it floats on something even more real that our senses cannot reach. This is the quiet truth of the universe. See that most of its weight lies beyond our grasp and always will. And maybe that is why it feels so beautiful. There is a strange peace in knowing that the strongest things can be invisible. We do not need to see them for them to hold us. Dark matter does not shine, yet it carries the stars. It does not touch, yet it shapes space and time. It is the weight of what we cannot touch, and it is holding us even now, as gently as the night holds the moon. The weight of what we cannot touch is everywhere, pressing softly on the structure of the universe, though we never feel its hand. Dark matter drifts between galaxies like invisible stone, anchoring the cosmos in a silence too deep for sound. It does not rustle, does not shimmer, does not burn, yet it outweighs all the stars and planets and dust combined. We live inside its gravity as fish live inside water, never noticing the ocean that carries them. It is the hidden floor beneath our feet, the unseen current beneath our days. Without it, the galaxies would have scattered like mist long ago, and the night sky would be dark and empty. To understand how this hidden weight shapes everything, imagine the early universe as a smooth, glowing mist. There were no stars then, no galaxies, only a warm fog of particles drifting in darkness. But inside that fog, dark matter had already gathered. It formed invisible knots, tiny overdensities where its gravity was just strong enough to slow the expansion of space. Ordinary matter, floating like pollen in a breeze, fell into those knots. It cooled, condensed, and eventually sparked into the first stars. In this way, dark matter sculpted the skeleton of the cosmos before light was even born. The stars are bright, but they are latecomers, perched on the ancient bones of something they can never touch. Astronomers see the imprint of this process in the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang. This ancient light has been traveling for almost 14 billion years, carrying with it the memory of the universe's first moments. When scientists map it, they find delicate ripples, tiny differences in temperature no larger than a few millionths of a degree. Those ripples are the footprints of dark matter, the places where its gravity first pulled the fog together. The pattern matches what supercomputer simulations predict. Without dark matter's extra weight, the universe would have stayed smooth and sterile. No galaxies would have formed, no stars, no planets, no us. All of history began in those invisible seeds. Today, those seeds have grown into an immense cosmic web. Dark matter forms vast filaments stretching across the universe, threading galaxy clusters like pearls on invisible strings. Between the filaments are cosmic voids, great black gulfs where almost nothing shines. And yet even the voids are shaped by dark matter's pull, their emptiness sculpted by the weight around them. The galaxies we see are only the frost on this hidden skeleton, tiny flames glowing on an endless dark framework. When astronomers map millions of galaxies, they trace the shape of that skeleton, revealing a sprawling lacework of dark matter. It is like blowing dust across an invisible spider's web and watching the pattern slowly appear. Our own Milky Way is tied to this web like a boat anchored to the sea floor. It swims inside a vast dark halo, hundreds of thousands of light years wide. This halo weighs far more than all the stars and planets in our galaxy combined, yet it has no surface, no edge, no spark of light. It is almost impossibly diffuse, so thin that you could stand inside a cube of it as large as a house and never find a single particle. And yet its gravity is so immense that it carries the sun, the earth, and every star you can see. It is a strange paradox, lighter than breath, heavier than everything. It is the invisible tide beneath our feet, always pulling, never seen. Astronomers can sense this halo's weight by studying the motions of stars on the galaxy's outskirts. These distant stars whirl around the Milky Way as if gripped by invisible cords. Their speed tells us how strong the pull must be, and the pull is far too strong to come from the visible stars alone. Something unseen is holding them, something far more massive than everything shining. It is as though the stars are fireflies swirling around a vast, invisible mountain. They move as if they can feel its slopes, though they will never land on it. This mountain is made of dark matter, and though it is untouchable, it shapes every orbit, every path of light. Even galaxy clusters, the largest bound structures in the universe, are wrapped in this same hidden weight. When clusters collide, their hot gas clouds crash together and slow down, glowing in X-rays like drifting embers. But the dark matter glides through without stopping, its weight undiminished. Astronomers have seen this in the Bullet Cluster, a pair of colliding galaxy clusters whose visible G as lags behind while their dark matter halos sail ahead. By mapping how the cluster's gravity bends the light of background galaxies, scientists can trace the shape of the invisible mass. It is one of the clearest proofs that dark matter is something real and separate, not just a trick of gravity. It is a silent substance, passing through itself like mist, yet heavy enough to hold the sky. What gives this hidden weight such power is not its density, but its vastness. Dark matter is thin, far thinner than air, but it fills the universe so completely that its total mass overwhelms everything else. It is like the pull of the ocean. Each drop is light, but together they move continents. This quiet mass sculpts space-time, carving valleys in its fabric, slowing the flow of time inside their depths. Light bends as it passes through these valleys, its path curved by the invisible gravity. Even the ticking of time is softened by the weight of what we cannot touch. Where dark matter gathers, moments stretch like honey, drawn out by the pull of something unseen. And still, for all its power, it stays silent. No one has ever seen a dark matter particle. It does not spark when struck or glow when heated. It does not cling to atoms or gather in clouds. It refuses to be caught by any experiment we build. Deep underground detectors wait in perfect stillness, hoping for the faintest touch, and the darkness drifts past without a sound. It is as though it exists in another layer of reality, overlapping ours but never colliding. And yet, its gravity is woven through everything. It is the invisible warp that holds the fabric of the cosmos together, while the bright threads of stars weave their patterns above it. This silence carries a strange kind of comfort. Dark matter does not clamor for notice. It does not compete with light. It simply holds, patient and unwavering, letting the galaxies dance while it stays unseen. It shows that strength can be quiet, that power does not need to be loud. The stars are brief fireworks, but the dark matter endures. It was here before the first light, and it will be here after the last light fades. Long after the stars go cold and the galaxies drift into darkness, this hidden weight will remain, holding the ashes of the universe together in its invisible arms. Perhaps that is why the idea of dark matter feels so peaceful. It reminds us that what supports us does not have to be visible. We live our lives chasing what glows, but we are held by what does not. Love, trust, memory, all are invisible, yet they carry us as surely as gravity. You cannot touch them, yet they shape every step. We are built on unseen foundations, just like the galaxies. The weight of what we cannot touch is not just a cosmic truth, it is a human one. It whispers that even if we cannot see what holds us, we are still held, quietly and completely, by something vast and gentle beyond our reach. It is easy to forget that almost everything we see is only a thin surface. The stars dazzle us, the planets gleam, and we build our sense of the universe from these bright fragments. But they are just the frost on a far deeper sea. Beneath them lies the weight of what we cannot touch, and it is this weight that holds everything together. Dark matter does not sparkle or roar, it whispers. It presses gently on the fabric of space, shaping the arcs of galaxies and the paths of light, while remaining invisible to our eyes. We are used to trusting what we can see, but the universe is teaching us something quieter, that the strongest things are often unseen. This truth reshapes how we think about space itself. We often imagine the void as hollow, as though the galaxies are lonely lanterns drifting in endless black. But the black is not empty. It is dense with invisible mass stretched across the cosmos like buried roots. Every star we see is caught in its pool, every cluster tied to its threads. Without this hidden foundation, the galaxies would have spun apart long ago, scattering their stars into the dark. Even the ancient clusters that have drifted together for billions of years would have unraveled, their gravity too weak to resist the push of expansion. Only the weight of dark matter has held them steady, like stones buried deep beneath a shifting river. When astronomers measure this weight, they do it indirectly, listening to its effects instead of touching it. They watch the outermost stars in galaxies, moving too fast to stay bound by visible matter alone. They map the distorted shapes of distant galaxies, stretched by the gravity of invisible halos. They trace the subtle patterns in the cosmic microwave background, faint ripples frozen from the dawn of time. Each of these is a clue, a shadow, a gentle echo of something we cannot grasp. And together they tell the same story. That dark matter outweighs everything we know, and yet it moves through us like breath through glass. It does not need to be touched to be real. This radux, so heavy yet so untouchable, carries a quiet beauty. It shows us that weight does not always mean pressure and strength does not always mean force. Dark matter carries the galaxies without ever colliding with them. It shapes the cosmos without leaving fingerprints. It is as though it has chosen invisibility, content to let the stars shine while it stays hidden. This is a kind of humility written into the bones of the universe. The most powerful thing we know has no face, no spark, no sound. It holds the sky and asks for nothing. In this way, it is not just a physical mystery, but a lesson in grace. There is also comfort in knowing that the universe is built on something so steady. The visible world is fragile, stars burn out, planets erode, civilizations rise and fade, but dark matter endures. It has been here since before the first stars, and it will be here after the last ones fade. Long after our sun grows cold and the galaxies dim to ash, the dark matter halos will still drift through space, holding the remnants in their unseen arms. The universe will become dark again, but it will not be empty. The weight of what we cannot touch will still be there, quiet as stone, patient as time, carrying what is left with the same silent care it has always given. And though we may never see it directly, perhaps we do not need to. Perhaps it is enough to know that something invisible can hold so much. We live our lives as though only the visible things matter, but the truth is that our lives are shaped most by what we cannot hold. Love, memory, hope, wonder, they are as intangible as dark matter, yet they carry us just as surely. They weigh nothing, yet they anchor everything. The galaxies have their invisible halos, and we have ours. We orbit the people we love, the dreams we keep, the promises we make, all bound by forces we cannot see. The physics is different, but the feeling is the same. We are held by what we cannot touch. This is what makes dark matter feel less like an alien mystery and more like a mirror. It shows us that the universe is not built on brightness but on quiet strength. The stars are the decoration, the dark matter is the structure. And in our own lives, the visible achievements are the stars, but the invisible care, the patience, the trust, the love, those are the dark matter. They do not shine, but without them, everything would fall apart. To understand the cosmos is to understand this, that the most enduring things are the ones we cannot see. And once we know that, we start to see them everywhere, not with our eyes, but with our hearts. As you stand beneath the night sky and feel the weight of its silence, remember that it is not truly silent. It hums with hidden gravity, with unseen mass, with the quiet architecture of dark matter. It flows through you now, through your bones and breath, through every cell. It passes like wind through stone, unnoticed but real, older than light and stronger than time. You cannot touch it, but it is touching everything. It is the reason the stars stay close, the reason the galaxies endure, the reason the sky has shape at all. And it is holding you too, as gently as it holds them. When the last star fades and the universe grows cold, the dark matter will still be here. It will carry the remnants of the galaxies through the quiet, still holding them together, still giving the cosmos shape. There will be no light then, no sound, no warmth, only darkness and the weight of what we cannot touch. And even then, that weight will be enough. It always has been. Light has always been our way of knowing. We map the stars by their glow, measure the cosmos by the flicker of distant suns, and trust that what shines must be what matters. Yet most of the universe does not shine, and it is this unseen darkness that gives shape to the light. Dark matter bends the paths of photons as surely as it binds the orbits of stars. It does not shine itself, but it sculpts the patterns of everything that does. The galaxies would not spin as they do, the stars would not gather, the light would not form constellations, if not for the invisible gravity of this dark web. The light we see is only the embroidery, the darkness is the loom. When astronomers first looked deep into space, they expected the stars to trace predictable paths, but the galaxies betrayed them. The stars at their edges moved too fast, as if feeling a stronger pull than the visible mass could provide. Something invisible was tugging on them, something massive yet unseen. It was the same with galaxy clusters, the light alone could not explain their weight. And when scientists mapped how light from distant galaxies curved on its way to us, they saw it again. Arcs and swirls of starlight bent as though space itself had been pressed by invisible hands. This bending is called gravitational lensing, and it reveals the fingerprints of dark matter. The darkness leaves no glow, but it reshapes the light like wind reshape. As drifting snow. This is how we know where dark matter hides, by watching how light bends around it. It is like seeing the shape of an invisible mountain by how the rivers curve around its slopes. Light that should travel straight instead bows gently, its path curved by gravity's silent pull. Sometimes the bending is strong, making rings or arcs of multiple images around massive clusters. Other times it is subtle, just a faint stretch of distant galaxies into soft smears. Each distortion tells a story about the invisible weight in front of it. These maps are like shadows drawn in light, showing the outlines of something that does not shine. And always, wherever the bending is strongest, there is more dark matter than stars. What makes this even stranger is that dark matter does not touch light at all. It does not absorb it, scatter it, or block it. The photons stream through it as though it were not there, yet their paths are curved by its gravity. It is as if light is dancing across a stage while dark matter moves the floor beneath it. The dancers never see the hands shifting the boards, but their steps are changed all the same. This is why we say darkness shapes the light, not by contact, but by presence. It does not interfere with the light. It guides it, gently and invisibly, like a current guiding drifting leaves. This quiet shaping is written into the structure of the universe. The great cosmic web, the sprawling lattice of galaxies and clusters, formed along filaments of dark matter. These filaments pulled gas into their invisible channels where it cooled and collapsed into the first stars. Light could only appear where darkness had already laid the foundation. Even now, the brightest clusters sit like jewels on these dark threads, their glow outlining the hidden structure beneath. If you could see the universe as it truly is, you would see not scattered stars, but a vast lace of light woven on a skeleton of darkness. The darkness came first, the light followed, and everything we see is just the faint tracing of those unseen lines. Even within our own galaxy, dark matter shapes how light is arranged. The Milky Way spins inside a massive halo of dark matter that extends far beyond the visible stars. This halo holds the outer stars in their orbits, keeping the spiral intact. Without it, the galaxy would fly apart and the stars would scatter like sparks in wind. The spiral arms would unravel and their starlight would fade into the dark. Instead, they remain gathered, glowing softly like fireflies caught in an invisible jar. We see the light of the Milky Way as a gentle band across the night sky, but we do not see the halo that holds it together. We see the song, not the silence that lets it play. Astronomers can even measure how much dark matter lies in our galaxy by the way stars move through it. They study the orbits of distant stars, watching how their paths curve as they circle the galactic center. The speeds are too high for the visible mass alone. Something more massive must be there, shaping their paths. This unseen gravity bends not just the stars, but also the light they shine. Their starlight arrives tilted, redshifted, slowed slightly by the wells of dark matter they pass through. Every photon carries the subtle memory of the darkness it has crossed. Even the light that reaches our eyes tonight was shaped by unseen hands long before it was born. This bending of light reveals another hidden truth. Dark matter also shapes time. Gravity slows time, and dark matter's vast mass creates countless little time warps across the cosmos. Light passing through these regions emerges not only bent but delayed, arriving just a little later than it would have otherwise. It is like hearing an echo stretched thin by distance. The light shows us not only where the darkness is, but how it pulls on the flow of moments themselves. The stars we see are pictures from the past, and that past is curved and stretched by the dark matter between us. Even the story of light is told on the pages of darkness. It is easy to think of darkness as the opposite of light, as if they were enemies, but they are not. They are partners. Light dances on the scaffolding that darkness builds. The two are not rivals but complements. One reveals, the other holds. Without darkness, the light would drift apart and vanish. Without light, the darkness would be shapeless and unseen. Together they make the universe. The stars write the music, but the dark matter gives them the stage. The galaxies sing, but the dark web carries their echoes. The beauty we see exists because of what we cannot see. And perhaps this is the quiet secret of the cosmos. That light does not fight darkness, it grows from it. The darkness is not a void but a cradle. It is not an end but a beginning. It shapes the light without ever dimming it, and the light shines because the darkness holds it steady. We chase the glow, but it is the unseen gravity that lets it endure. Every star, every planet, every flash of color in the sky exists because darkness shaped it first. The universe is not made of competing opposites, but of partners, light and dark, presence and silence, each giving the other meaning. We see the light, but we live in the dark. Light seems delicate, but it listens to gravity. Every photon races at the same speed, yet its path can be curved by the faintest tug. It does not resist. It bends like grass in wind, folding gently around whatever gravity places in its way. Dark matter does not touch the light, does not block it or scatter it, yet its invisible gravity shapes every beam. Across billions of years, this quiet sculpting has carved the patterns of the universe. The galaxies we see are arranged where dark matter gathered first, their starlight glowing along the bones of unseen giants. Every glimmer we admire has been guided, however softly, by something we cannot see. This is why astronomers call dark matter the scaffolding of light. When they simulate the birth of the cosmos on supercomputers, they begin with invisible particles drifting in a featureless fog. Slowly, their gravity pulls them together into filaments, long strands crossing like the roots of a growing tree. Gas flows into those strands, cooling and condensing until it sparks into stars. Where the filaments knot together, galaxy clusters blaze to life. The result is a vast lace of light woven on a skeleton of darkness. Without that skeleton, the stars would have stayed scattered dust, and the universe would be dim and still. The darkness gave the light a place to stand. Even now, this quiet shaping continues. The space between galaxies is full of invisible bridges, filaments of dark matter stretching across millions of light years. Galaxies drift along these bridges like lanterns floating down hidden rivers. The dark matter pulls them toward clusters, funnels them into vast superclusters, and knits those superclusters into the great cosmic web. Light marks their paths like fireflies tracing invisible trails, revealing the dark structure beneath. If you could step outside the universe and look back, you would see glowing strings of galaxies wrapped around invisible strands, like pearls on threads too fine to see. You would see the darkness shaping every glimmer. Astronomers map this hidden web by studying how light bends on its way to us. This technique, called weak gravitational lensing, is like watching ripples on a pond to find the shape of the stones below. Distant galaxies appear subtly stretched or smeared as though seen through flowing glass. The distortions are tiny fractions of a percent, but they trace the outlines of dark matter. By measuring millions of these faint stretches, scientists can build vast maps of invisible mass. These maps look like spider silk strung across the universe, delicate yet unbreakable, with bright knots where galaxy clusters shine. They show that wherever light gathers, darkness gathered first. The effect is even more striking in strong gravitational lensing, where massive clusters bend light so sharply that it loops around them. One galaxy can appear as several arcs, curved like petals around an invisible center. These cosmic mirages reveal enormous masses of dark matter hidden inside the clusters. The visible stars and gas are not enough to create such powerful bending. Something far heavier must be there. The light is not just passing through space, it is sliding across the curved surface of gravity itself, and dark matter is what shapes that surface. It is like looking at a reflection in warped glass, except the glass is space and the warping hands are invisible. Dark matter even shapes the color of light. As photons climb out of deep wells of gravity, they lose energy and shift to longer wavelengths. This gravitational redshift is subtle, but it leaves every beam marked by the mass it has crossed. Light that has passed through regions rich in dark matter arrives stretched and softened, its waves pulled long like taffy. Every star's glow carries this silent history, a record of the darkness it has traversed. It is as if each beam of light has been cradled in invisible hands, gently slowed and lengthened before being set free. We see the stars as bright and steady, but their light has been bent and aged by the unseen before it reaches us. This bending also changes how we see time. Because gravity slows time, dark matter's gravity creates countless tiny time warps across the universe. In regions rich with dark matter, moments flow a little slower. Light passing through those places takes just a little longer to reach us. We cannot feel this difference, but we can measure it. When astronomers observe distant supernovae behind massive clusters, they sometimes see the same explosion appear more than once, separated by days or weeks, as its light travels along different curved paths. The darkness has stretched the light's journey, bending not juice. Its path but its clock, even the flow of time dances on the threads of dark matter. It is humbling to realize that everything we see is filtered through this invisible structure. We look up and think we see the universe as it is, but we see only its surface, distorted by unseen hands. The galaxies are like lanterns glowing through deep water. Their light bends, ripples, and softens on the way to us. We admire their shapes, not realizing that those shapes are drawn by gravity's slow brush. We see light as truth, but it is always shaped by the darkness it has crossed. It is not false, only guided, like music shaped by the hollow of an instrument. The darkness is the hollow, the light is the song. And yet this guidance is not harsh. Dark matter does not drag the light or crush it, it cradles it. It bends space so gently that the light does not even know it is turning. It simply flows, following the soft curves of gravity as water follows the shape of a stream. There is a kind of kindness in this, a reminder that power does not have to be forceful. The darkness does not command the light, it carries it. It lets the stars shine while keeping them from drifting away. It gives structure to brilliance without dimming it. The light is free to dazzle because the darkness quietly holds its stage. This balance, light dancing, darkness holding, is what makes the universe beautiful. The stars burn for only a few billion years, but the dark matter will remain for trillions. The light flashes, the darkness endures. One gives color, the other gives shape. Without dark matter, the light would scatter and fade. Without light, the darkness would be invisible and forgot. Together, they create all wonder. The galaxies are not just collections of stars, they are sculptures made by gravity, lit from within. Their beauty belongs not only to the light, but also to the unseen hands that shaped it. And maybe this is the quiet lesson written into the sky, that what we admire is not only what shines. The things that hold us often remain unseen. The stars glow because the darkness steadies them. And in our lives, the moments that shine joy, love, triumph are also shaped by invisible forces: patience, memory, kindness, hope. These are our dark matter. They do not blaze, but they give shape to everything that does. Light shows us where we are. Darkness shows us how to stay. The universe is not made of brilliance alone. It is made of brilliance resting on silence, like light resting on the unseen arms of dark matter, gently held so it can shine. The stars look eternal, but they are only brief sparks. Each one is born from collapsing gas, burns for millions or billions of years, and then fades. Their light rushes through space at unimaginable speed, but even light cannot last forever. It thins, it stretches, it fades into the background glow. And yet, even as the light dies, the darkness endures. Dark matter has been here since before the first star and will remain after the last. It does not shine, but it gives shape to everything that does. The galaxies are its sculptures, the stars its fleeting candles. The beauty we see in the night sky is just the surface. The true architecture lies in shadow. This is the quiet paradox of the cosmos. Light is how we see, but darkness is how things stay. The galaxies appear delicate, drifting like blossoms on a black river, but they are tied to invisible anchors. Without those anchors, their stars would have flown apart long ago. Without the dark matter halos around them, even the grandest spirals would unravel like wind-blown smoke. The starlight we see tonight would have scattered into nothing. It is strange to think that everything bright depends on something invisible, but this is what the universe tells us again and again. What holds is not always what glows. We can see this even in the way light reaches us. The photons that strike our eyes have crossed oceans of space, and along the way they have bent and curved through invisible valleys of gravity. Their paths are not straight. They wind like rivers around unseen hills. Every glimmer in the sky has been sculpted by dark matter before it arrived. The galaxies we admire are not what they seem. They are mirages reshaped by gravity's soft touch. Their light shows us where they are, but their shapes show us where the darkness lies. We look at the stars, but we are seeing shadows drawn in light. This quiet sculpting will outlast all the light. Someday the stars will fade. Their fuel will burn out, their glow will dim, and the universe will grow cold. The galaxies will go dark one by one until only black holes and cooling embers remain. But the dark matter halos will still drift through the silent void. They will keep their shapes long after there is nothing left to shine on them. The darkness will survive the light it once carried. It will hold the ashes of stars with the same patience it once held their fire. In that far future, the universe. It will be dark again, but not empty. It will still be full of invisible gravity, full of structure, full of the same silent strength it has always had. There is something peaceful in this thought. It means the universe does not end when the light goes out. The darkness is not destruction, it is foundation. It does not erase the light, gives it a place to exist. Every star was born because dark matter gathered first to cradle it. Every galaxy glows because invisible hands hold it in place. The darkness does not dim the light, it steadies it. And when the light fades, the darkness will still remain, waiting quietly for whatever comes next. It is not the end of the story, but the quiet page it is written on. In a way, dark matter makes the light more beautiful. Knowing that it is fleeting and that something unseen has carried it so gently across time gives each glimmer a kind of sacred weight. The stars are not just bursts of gas, they are whispers of fire balanced on invisible palms. We look at them and see brightness, but we are really seeing care. The care of a universe that shaped space itself so the light could shine. The care of a darkness that gave the stars their stage, then stepped back into silence. This is why the night sky feels so tender. It is not only light we are seeing, it is light held. And perhaps this is the most human part of the story. We live our lives chasing what glows, success, praise, beauty. But what keeps our lives from scattering are the invisible things. Love, patience, trust, wonder. They do not sparkle, but they give shape to everything that does. They are our dark matter, the quiet gravity that holds our days together. The moments of joy are our stars, the unseen bonds are our halos. We shine only because something unseen steadies us. The physics is different, but the truth is the same. What holds is not always what glows. One day, maybe far in the future, we may finally see dark matter. We may detect a faint spark deep underground, a whisper of collision in a silent chamber. We may glimpse the invisible filaments directly, glowing faintly in new kinds of light. If that day comes, it will be quiet. There will be no explosion, no fanfare, just a soft confirmation of what the stars have been telling us all along, that the light has always been shaped by the dark. And even then, the wonder will remain. Knowing will not erase the mystery. It will deepen it, like finally seeing the hands of a sculptor without diminishing the beauty of the sculpture. Until then, we walk under the night sky and trust what we cannot see. The stars seem scattered, but they are held. Their light seems free, but it follows unseen paths. And we too are held by things we cannot see. The universe is not only what shines, it is also what holds. The darkness is not the opposite of the light. It is its frame, its cradle, its quiet companion. The stars sing, and the darkness carries their song. So when you look up and see the glitter of distant suns, remember that their beauty belongs to the dark as much as to the light. The darkness shaped them before they were born, holds them while they shine, and will keep their echoes long after they fade. This is the secret written across the sky, that light needs darkness to exist, and darkness needs light to be seen. Together they make everything. The stars are the melody, but the darkness is the rhythm. We see the song, but it is the silence that lets it play. And that silence is still holding us, gently as we dream.